the other thing with anything carbonated is that it really causes, again, digestive problems when you get older if it's not affecting you now.
So like even soda water to try to.
Oh yeah, even seltzer, any of that. So really carbonated beverages you want to minimize.
So even if like you have like an upset stomach from it, because I always turn to carbonated beverages.
I know, that definitely does that.
Like, it always helps me out. So
Right.
Is that too bad?
It's better to do like ginger tea instead. That's much better for you. A lot healthier. Good. Because what it's doing is depleting the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, and over time that makes it harder for you to digest. And you also need the stomach acid to absorb calcium from your dairy products. So that'll interfere with calcium absorption. Yeah. All right, good. Very good question. Did you have a question? No? Okay. All right, great. Okay, super. And so I just, yeah, I'll take one more and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know.
Okay, no, that's all right. Go ahead, Sean.
I read somewhere that red meat doesn't digest fully and it's fat. Is that totally a lie? Is that all right?
It's true again for some people, not for everybody. Generally speaking, people that are blood type A don't digest red meat well at all. Or if they're AB blood types, but people that are blood type O or blood type B actually do very well with red meat, and they actually digest it much better.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can't say that everybody should be meat eaters, everybody should be vegetarians, okay, because there are genetic components to that. And some people really do better eating meat, and some people really do better being vegetarians. Okay. The advantage for those of you who can eat red meat is the fact that the red meat sustains you longer. You don't deplete as quickly if you're exercising a lot. That's the one advantage. Okay. But for those of you who can't have the red meat, then then you need to just make sure you're eating enough protein to get that sustenance. That's important.
Maybe if you can speak a little to, I mean, this is the freshman class, it's their first year here. We've heard that their dining area, as the students get older, they have kitchens, they cook. I'm looking out at some juniors eating kale and all sorts of cool things that they've made at either in their apartment. But this particular group doesn't have that option at this point.
Right.
And barely even a grocery shopping option. Like sometimes you get
They can't get apartments next year.
well, so this is their dilemma, and I know when I was a student in a dance conservatory, our MO was basically not eat for most of the day, and then eat all night to make up for it, and that's sort of a typical young dancer's mentality. You stay kind of empty because you feel sort of good in your tight clothes, and I know and I've been a dancer for decades now, and so I've learned a lot about what what I call my fighting weight is, like when I feel the strongest, when I feel, and I've also learned a lot about nutrition over the years, and this is great, she's reinforcing all these things I think I sort of already know. But for them, it's like, what could a day, for them to get through a dancing day, could you recommend like a day's diet that doesn't have to do with necessarily having filled their dorm room with Whole Foods organic food, because they can't really. I mean, maybe on weekends sometimes you can get the White Plains and buy some bags of nuts and fruits or whatever. But could you recommend, some food options? Because I mean, maybe you could shout out, like, what do you eat for breakfast if you eat breakfast? Which I hope you do.
Right.
Sausage and eggs sandwich with it.
Cereal and soy milk, coffee.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe you can speak to that a little bit. It's just so it's like what could the arc of a day? Because they don't have a lot of time.
Sure, absolutely. But one of the best things I think for a lot of you are the organic food bars that you can buy, because those have your protein in them, they have the carbs in them, they have the fruit, they have sometimes vegetables. You can get something called Active Greens with chocolate, which is basically there's broccoli powder and yet it's covered with chocolate, but it tastes like chocolate. I mean, it doesn't taste like broccoli. So, I mean, there's ways to incorporate healthy, choices. So the brand name is Organic Food Bar. You can buy it in Whole Foods. You can buy it in a lot of these Korean delis. They all carry them. So that's one very easy thing to keep in the dorms. Another thing that I would really recommend is you can also buy like a greens or vegetable powder that you can actually mix into like applesauce and eat that as a quick snack. And that would give you a lot more nutrition, since you don't have time, to cook, or you don't even have the ability to do that in a kitchen setting. But make sure you start the morning with protein. So we talked about eggs, we talked about chicken, turkey sausages, protein shakes for those of you who don't want to eat a cooked breakfast. That's another option as well. And those are all things that you can just stir up in a glass. You don't have to have a blender, you don't have to have a kitchen for that. So that would help enormously, okay? And I think those would be the easiest things to do. If you really start the day off with a really good breakfast, then that's going to carry over for quite a while. Yes?
Sorry, are carbs bad to start breakfast? Because they have a lot of carbs here.
Okay,
Or breakfast food.
they're okay provided you combine them with protein. So the thing is, don't just do carbs, make sure you have protein along with the carbs. Okay, so like a couple of hard-boiled eggs, or if they have sunny side up, whatever eggs choices they have. Okay, or you could do the protein bars that we talked about. Just make sure the protein bars are not soy-based. Okay, so make sure they have other protein in them.
How do you feel about peanut butter? Did I miss the peanut butter?
Peanut butter would be fine. Almond butter is good too if you've got allergies to peanuts, so that's another option too. Absolutely. So that on fruit or that on some toast, absolutely, yeah, sure. That would be a very good choice. Yes.
Now, is chunky better than smooth, or does it not matter?
Okay. I'm curious. That's a good question. It doesn't matter. It depends on what your preference is. So either one is fine.
I want to know.
More important is that it doesn't have sugar in the peanut butter and that it doesn't have hydrogenated oil.
No Skippy, no Jim.
Okay. Yeah, it should be a natural peanut butter or natural almond butter. And again, vary it. So one day it could be peanut butter, another day it could be almond butter, and then there's pecan butter, macadamia butter. So there's lots of different nut butters. And sunflower, pumpkin seeds, yeah, all that. And then yogurt is another quick, easy meal. And if you can, if you have a choice, usually goat or sheep yogurt is much healthier than regular cow yogurt. The Greek yogurt is good, exactly, right.
I heard the Greek yogurt has more protein.
It does have more protein in it. They actually do add more protein to the Greek yogurt, so that's actually very good.